I'm sure by now you'll have heard the advert that Work+go, our partners, are having a huge event that is taking place in Manchester on the 4th of November. But what is Work+go? What do they do? Well, rather than me read it off the script, we can bring on Naira, who is currently, you're in Wales at the moment, Naira.
Yes, I am. Rainy Wales, where it rains every day of the year.
You sound surprised by that. So from that, I'll take the fact that you haven't been there long.
Well, no, I visited often. I just didn't really realize that it rained nearly every day. So,
I never understand why people from Australia would ever move over here. I genuinely, I never know why people who are from a hot country would ever move to the UK, especially of all places, Wales. Wales and Manchester are probably, they have more rainfall than anywhere else in the whole wide world, I imagine. But we aren't just here to talk about where you're currently located at the moment, because Work+go. So this is all about sharing Jesus in different cultures and in particular in the workplace, isn't it? Tell us more.
yeah. So, we set up Work+go last year, and the aim of the program is to inspire workers to share Jesus across cultures. And we believe that work is valuable because God made it. And we also believe that having a fulfilling international career and sharing the gospel among other cultures aren't mutually exclusive. We think actually they're made to go together. So Work+go is exploring how work, crossing cultures, fits together as a gospel opportunity.
And it can be difficult, can't it? Because different cultures, they are different about their faith. So, for example, if we take our American friends, in America, they're not ashamed to be all out and say, yep, I'm a Christian, like it or lump it. Whereas the thing is that in the UK, we tend to be sometimes a bit subtle about it, maybe even a bit stealth, where it's almost like in the workplace, especially, unless you get that weird secret handshake, you don't know that the other person is a Christian. So, how do you tackle all this when you've got different denominations, you've got different kinds of Christians?
Yeah, that's a great question. We often think of cultures as the same. So what we've got a speaker, Shireen Chua, who's joining us from New Zealand, and she's actually talking about what it means to be intercultural. And she really challenges us to think of cultures as not just one dimensional. So we often think you're a Christian, therefore you should act like X, Y, or Z. But actually, you could be a Christian who is from the UK. You could be a Chinese background. You could be from a Christian family. And all those different elements will shape the culture that you present as a Christian. So we want Christians to realize that our culture is shaped by many, many aspects of our life. And we're called to be not just cross-cultural, but intercultural, to really think about and explore and ask questions of the other person to try and understand where they're coming from and what their expression of faith is. And so this conference in Manchester on the 4th of November we've got a speaker helping us to address that one aspect alone. But remember that we've also got different cultures in the workplace. So I've spent my working career working in the NHS, and one hospital's culture is different to another hospital's culture. But also the culture of the NHS and working in a hospital is different from working in a law firm. It's different from working in the military. It's different from working in the civil service. So there is no one size fits all when we're trying to understand people with different backgrounds and different cultures.
And you've got some great speakers on. So I'm just looking now, and it's been broken up into different topics. So you've got business, you've also got legal and military. You've got arts and entertainment, digital media. In fact, you can find it all if you go to the website workandgo.org. So this event in particular is taking place on the 4th in Manchester. Manchester's a big place. So whereabouts is it?
Yeah, it's at the Radisson Park Inn, which is across the road from the Victoria railway station. So right in central Manchester.
And it's a full day, isn't it?
Yeah, we've opened up Friday night. We're just having a casual meal together at 8 p.m. at Wagamama's on Friday night for those arriving on Friday, because we do have lots of people coming from all across the country. And then on Saturday morning, the morning kicks off with a plenary session. And that plenary session is at 9:30 in the morning. I
Are
had to
you
double
reading that
check.
off
So
the
welcome.
screen, Naira?
Sorry?
Are you reading that off the screen?
Yeah.
It's going 9:30.
9 or
That's the one.
9:30. Yeah. So we have like coffee and registration and cakes and things at 9, with the main event kicking off at 9:30. And then the main part of the day will finish somewhere between 5 and 5:30. But we then do have an evening networking meal and speaker Q&A session at 6:30. Again at the venue. So we'll enjoy a curry together and just have opportunities to ask more of the speakers. We've got 16 speakers coming. So we've got a lot of people with a lot of experience, and we just want to sort of mine all their knowledge and get the most out of the day.
It sounds really exciting. And in my opinion, but I would say this, there aren't enough events happening in Manchester. It always seems to be in the south, doesn't it? It always seems to be, it's in London. And all our northern friends, and even people in the Midlands, are a bit like, oh, it never comes to us. So if you go to the website, you will be able to get your tickets. You'll also be able to see all the speakers there, because it's going to be a really busy day, this. And it's in a lovely venue. I've been there before, workandgo.org. And very quickly, I want to end on what could be a difficult question for you, but why is it important to share Jesus in the workplace?
Yeah, because we're Christians 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Most workers spend 40 plus hours of their life, the majority of their week, in their workplace. And so why not share Jesus where we are? We're called to be salt and light where God has put us. And so for those of us who are working, that is our mission, one of our main mission fields. Obviously our home, where we come back to at the end of the day, where our friends, our family, our housemates is also our mission field. But where we spend 40 hours a week is our primary mission field outside our home. And there are lots of people who don't know Jesus in our workplaces. And imagine how this country and other countries could be transformed if our colleagues knew Jesus, and were working in such a way that Jesus was glorified. Wouldn't the world that we're seeing at the moment just be totally and utterly transformed? We turn on the news at the moment and we see some horrible things going on around the world. We have conflicts in the Ukraine and Russia. We've now got the conflicts happening in the Middle East. Imagine if the leaders of those countries knew Jesus.
It's incredible. And when you hear the stats about how long during the week we're actually in work, it is quite startling, isn't it? Because think about it. So 8 hours a day spent anywhere is a long time. And I remember hearing a great phrase, and I saw an interview online, and it was elderly people who were sharing their tips. And this old man said that I've never ever bought a cheap bed or cheap shoes, because if you're not in bed, then you're on your feet. So it makes sense to have a good mattress and good shoes. But also you can tie that into, like you said, about work. You know, potentially 8 hours a day, you are mixing with these people. And if you're not sharing your faith, then they'll never know a huge part of you. They'll never know who the true Naira is or the true Gareth is if you're not sharing your faith. So everything that you need is on the website. It is workandgo.org, and it's taking place on the 4th of November in Manchester. But go to the website first. You can see the speakers and you can find out what you can expect. Naira, love to you and all the team, and we hope it's a massively successful event. And take care, won't you?
Thanks.